Well, here we are again, co-ed edition, Birds of a Feather, with my boy Eddie B.
Hey,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here to discuss, have a little mini group therapy session, although we're not panicking after
nah,
the Sixers lost last night, 100 to 129 to the Nets.
it is.
Eddie, welcome, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? And
Good,
it's
good.
it's definitely way too early to panic.
Although I understand why people do because we feel like we're in a similar situation where we always are with this team, but you don't realize until right now how long it's been since the last time they had a roster change and had to get used to it, and
Yeah,
then the playoffs came. So no need to panic, right?
nah. This is a regular season game. We got some more time. Still got double digit games left for them to figure it out. They got a
Hmm.
new. I mean, these guys are still learning each other, and it won't take that long. I mean, these guys are good, so it won't take that long.
Well, it
So
fed into the national media's conclusion of how Harden can tap out early. And I don't think that's fair because they're talking about when he's in the playoffs, which is our complaint about Ben,
well, yeah.
coincidentally, with them swapping teams. So Ben can look real good on the court, I mean on the bench, but he's all high and mighty because now he most likely, and we don't know a lot of the stuff that really angers fans on both sides is the fact that we don't really know what's going to happen, but we kind of
Hmm.
feel like we already know in our way.
Yeah.
Philly fans had every right to boo him, but I was not a favor of booing him until he played personally. So if I had gone to that game last night, I wouldn't have booed. I
I
would have
don't
just
think he.
sat there and just looked at him.
I don't think he deserves it. He don't even deserve it, boo.
You know?
He doesn't deserve it. He
No,
does
why?
no because he you got to be. He's not playing. He doesn't deserve. Boo is we're booing you because we're mad because you're good. No,
You're
no,
right.
we're,
I
he
agree.
doesn't. He doesn't deserve it. He's just and his weak-minded ass sitting there just smirking. I'm sitting there like, what are you smirking for? You're not even playing. And
Right.
all now, so now you can go sit on the bench with your team, huh? Couldn't do that before. Yeah,
I know. Suddenly he was ghost during the whole season, most of the season before they finally traded his ass, and then,
yeah.
but suddenly, and see, it's funny how they call Philly fans front runners because right now to me Ben Simmons looks like a front runner. He's just
Hmm.
cool as long as his team is good, but they've been up and down. And last time I checked, the Sixers are ahead of them in the NFL.
Well,
I mean, hello, wrong sport.
they
NBA standing.
they're still. I mean, technically, Brooklyn's not even in the playoffs right now.
Right, right.
I mean,
So they're
so
going
I
to have a
mean,
good sharing. I mean, the thing that I envy most about, which I always envied about KD, is that the way he hits a three, he doesn't even touch the net.
yeah.
Like those threes were like even devoid of a swish. It was just a quiet, like I see why he nicknames himself Sniper for a while because he literally does hit those threes. But I mean,
Oh, he's an amazing player. Yeah, I
he's
mean,
an amazing player, and so Kyrie and him together did not shock me. What shocked me was the Sixers deciding to just fall apart after the first quarter because Embiid was kind of living off of getting into foul trouble. And the problem with Embiid that he has to realize and be conscious of is you can't just assume every foul is going to go your way at home because clearly these refs have been up and down no matter where you are.
oh yeah.
So there were some times that I think he just assumed right off the bat he was going to get the call, and Harden was looking for calls. And I just want to say, stop looking for calls. That's one tweet I saw on Twitter that I agreed with.
Oh,
I think it was Les Bowen.
that's the
You know,
league though. That's what. But the thing is, they made him this way though. I mean, it's nothing but the league's fault. They made players this way because how tacky they are, how fast they blow the whistle
yeah.
nowadays. Now players they look for it. You know,
But don't you think that Embiid was kind of using most of his brain power, I mean, his energy into just getting fouls and not trying to
well,
like,
he was driving.
yeah.
I mean, it sucks that he was the only one that was actually being aggressive.
I mean, Harden had little peaks, but I think the fact that he kind of disappeared in the second half, obviously they felt like he
I
needed to
mean,
be benched. It just
he
kind of
went
was disappointing.
going 3 for 17. I mean, that's bad night, really bad night.
And I don't like the fact that as much as I love Maxi, I know that sometimes the way he battles is he just keeps over pursuing and trying to just do everything at once. And I almost want to be like, calm down, young buck. Like this is not the playoffs. This is the one game, and the only way you guys gotta. I mean, this is what he has to learn about being a point guard is you have to learn to do, um, to guide the team even when Embiid's not on the floor or Harden's not on the floor. And a lot of the time, maybe once or twice in the third quarter, I think Tobias took the lead. But even so, then they'll figure him out. He'll miss a layup, but he'll get another one. And I felt
Mhm.
like Tobias was still kind of even showing a little bit more um, defense again, because I think he was starting to realize like they were all over their asses throughout the whole game. The comeback is really what makes me nervous. It seems like every time the Sixers took a pause, like Nets were right there, boom, 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 boom. They had everybody on
Yeah.
them, no matter who it was, and that to me shows me that they're still not. The whole team is as a whole is still not used to having that much pressure on them
Hmm.
physically.
Well, and the thing is, like the Nets just had a great night shoot. They're never gonna shoot 70% again.
Yeah, that was rare.
That was just a great. It was a rare. They had a great shooting night, and just the worst part about it is at the same time the Sixers shot 20 something percent, almost 30.
Right.
And that's
It was
just
bad.
it doesn't. And is you can't come back from that.
No.
And that's something that you're not running. They're not running. I didn't see a lot of plays get run through Maxi. Didn't see a lot of anything. Like
Right.
they just look flat, like
Yeah.
so flat.
Solely flat,
You
and it shouldn't.
know,
Anything of the hype shouldn't have got to them.
yeah. And I hope Doc takes this to heart because because he is their leader. So I mean, he's their coach.
Are we
He'll,
are we are we allowed to blame him for some of that though?
I mean, some of it. I mean, they just didn't seem prepared, and
That's my point.
that's on him.
Right.
That is definitely on him.
You
Now as
know,
far as execution, that's on the players. You know,
that's why I
uh,
was mad, because the first half I could tell. But I always swear by the fourth quarter. I kind of knew even halfway through the third. I said, "Oh, they're not coming back now," because they were going on 30 points even then. So even when they caught up a little by 10 or so, they went right back to the
yeah,
deficit.
yeah,
So
and all their shooters are hot. So it's like
right, what are you gonna
it's
do?
not,
Yeah, if
it's like
everybody,
oh,
Brown's hot, Jefferson's hot, or whoever the other guy was that kind of looked like Mike Scott. I just felt like every guy that just got a basket,
and none of our guys were
and none of our
couldn't
guys did.
yeah. So
Shake is floundering, and that this is another reason why I'm seeing why Doc doesn't depend on Shake too much. Um,
Shake is inconsistent, very inconsistent too.
he is
I
very
mean,
inconsistent,
he's not as inconsistent as Korkmaz is, but
right?
he's pretty inconsistent too.
But all of a sudden, look at Cork in garbage moments. You see how much he was hitting freely. I just was like, dude, why? Why do you do
Like
this?
why can't you channel this during a normal time when they
Right.
need
Why?
you?
If that's the one night that Doc decides to not start you, and you go massive cold for a while,
Yeah.
he moves away from you, and then in the fourth quarter you start hitting the threes left and right.
Hmm.
I just don't understand it, and that's what's frustrating, the inconsistency. And I wonder. The one thing I will agree with Doc when I saw in the press conference, as much as I could watch it before I started getting myself together, go upstairs and go to bed, but I just kept hearing him say that it stuck out to me that they didn't play together.
No, they
and
didn't.
it was clearly obvious, because the more that Embiid got on that foul line, and the more that Harden seemed to like try to do his little runs into them, and Kyrie wasn't buying it. Kyrie was pretty much glued to his shoulder the whole night,
Mm-hmm.
not intimidated, just focused, And I don't even think Kyrie was even shit talking. I think Kyrie was just like, look, I'm just doing my job. What are you doing?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was tough to watch at one point. I'm just sitting
mhm,
there
yeah,
like
a couple times I dipped out. Yeah,
I stopped watching for a little bit, then I came back to it again.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it was but you know what? Hey, look, they've won so many games in the past like couple weeks.
right.
So and they haven't really lost that many at all. So you knew it was going to happen. It was just this wasn't going to. They were going to keep winning like this constantly.
And I think Harden said it best too. Everything was sweet for a while, and we had to get our asses kicked, and
Hey, you know what? Hopefully this brings them back to reality. And
that's what he said. Yeah, and I appreciated him saying that as the guy who everyone expected to show up, because my whole thing is this gives you a preview of what could be the playoffs, because if you do come back to this team, you want to
mhm,
mentally definitely be more in check than you were
yeah,
this game, because this
hey,
game everybody kind of just froze.
yeah.
You know,
Sometimes you need a punch in the face to make you
yeah,
honest.
to bring you down. And it's
Yeah.
a shame, because if even when they do play on Sunday and blow out the Magic, that it's not going to mean anything. It's just going to be like, all right, so we can't translate this to a real competitive team. Like, I granted the players are different, but you should be able to treat every game. Well, you should be able to treat every game like it's a Nets game or like it's a Bucks game. I felt like they even last time they played the Bucks, they played harder than they did
Hmm.
this game.
Oh
So
yeah, they play really hard against the Bucks. Yeah.
yeah, because they were probably mentally prepared. So I don't know how you check out. And then of course, social media is going to go on the fact that Harden was out for a friend's birthday. Big deal. I refuse to believe that his going out has anything to do. I think that's his way of chucking the whole night before and then starting a new page and living his life. And I don't think
Hmm.
that's wrong because if freaking Dennis Rodman can do the stuff he did and still
Oh,
be a
Dennis.
champion, Dennis Rodman
Yeah.
like wrote the book on that. Okay.
All
So
right.
it shows me that some guys' drive never leaves them just because they're out late or they barely get any sleep. Some
Yeah.
guys can just do that. They can multitask. And some guys have more energy than others. So they probably still can't turn that shit off after they got out of a game. So
Hmm.
they had a 2-day break before this game. So mentally, at some point, they should have decided, even if they didn't want to be on their phones or be on social media because they knew it would be all Ben, Ben, Ben. Ben was clearly not a factor, and he never really
Yeah.
was. It was just the idea that he was coming back as no longer a Sixer and now on the squad. So
Yeah.
my thing I thought was funny was him coming out with a ball in the first place from the hotel. Then they showed him coming out and getting booed from with the ball, and I'm just like, why are you bouncing a ball? You're not going to do anything. And then it was like he was walking around during warm-ups, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like I thought you had stiffness in the back, like, dude.
Hmm.
So it's kind of hard for me to not get annoyed by some of the, and I mean national, meaning ESPN and all those people who always want to look at Ben like, you know clearly everyone's going to look at it like, well, fans are going to be upset, because Ben showed up and then his team, politely whipped their ass. And I'm like, no, we're upset because we're sick and tired of watching an inconsistent team that has the capability to be consistent.
Hmm.
The Nets aren't doing anything up until this point. So it's like for them to finally kind of come together on one game that Kyrie could actually play in, it's
Hmm.
like that's a good look for them. Katie and Kyrie did what they had to do. It was the rest of their team that made it even better for them
Hmm.
because they actually supported them, unlike the Sixers. It was very unbalanced.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you're not ready to jump off a bridge. I'm not either. But what
Nah. Nah.
what what is one thing that they have to do come like the last because they got like what less than like 17, 18 games now. They
Yeah.
have to try to work on consistency, even if it's some days
Hmm.
it's not always on Harden, it's not always on Embiid. They have to learn how to rebound when the two stars are faltering. Like this is the
Yeah.
stuff that makes me
And
annoyed.
I think Jordan. I think DeAndre Jordan helped him with that too. So
He did actually. I thought
yeah, as
actually
far as
he
rebounding,
he
yeah.
played his role. He didn't do too much, and that to me is all you can ask for a backup center. I mean, if
Hmm.
there's one thing I know, the funny thing is them playing what the Bulls or something that guy Tony Bradley who used to back up Embiid,
Yeah.
he was just taking him to church. I just thought to myself, I said, for all those people that kept being like, why did we get rid of Tony Bradley? What do we,
Like
you know,
that's why. Right.
that's why
Yeah.
because his instincts weren't going to last that long because he's
Well,
still young.
you saw what Embiid did to Drummond.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
Drummond was hobbling at one point.
he destroyed Drummond. Like,
And the only
like,
reason why he came up is because sometimes people weren't there for the rebound. But in general,
yeah,
yeah, he still owns Drummond even when he wasn't on the squad,
yeah,
you know. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie, Kyrie and KD play a very clean game, and
yeah,
I think that's the only thing I can hate on them about. I can't get mad of all the other talk because only KD will answer that stuff. Kyrie's like so in his own world that he's just like whatever.
yeah.
I came here to play
Well,
and leave.
yeah, and we're not gonna have a night again when we shoot like 25%. That's not gonna happen.
I hope to God
Yeah,
not, especially not on a big game, because that would really disappoint me if they did this again against them. Like if
I mean,
then it would seem like a mind thing, and then you're like, okay, so they just got y'all. Like y'all just gonna let them walk all over you every time you play
yeah.
them. That's
I think they're gonna be.
ridiculous.
I think it's gonna be the flip side. I think they're gonna be more angry next time they play
I
the
hope they
Nets.
do, but I hope angry and focused because it's
Yeah,
one thing if they're emotional and they can't use it to actually beat them.
yeah,
Because clearly every game they still have slow starts, which I don't know if that's just because they're all trying not to step on each other's toes or they just can't figure out like how this other team plays well enough to get themselves, together right away. You know, that's frustrating too.
yeah.
I don't understand why they start slow because I don't know if that's Embiid or if that's just if that's I wonder if that's just him sometimes Maxie and all them trying to feel like who's taking the ball, who's holding the ball too long, and then it's Harden feeling pressure to not have the ball because they say that he hogs the ball. Like I didn't really feel like he was hogging the ball as much as he wasn't doing much with it.
Mm.
You
No, I
know?
mean they can't even say that. The man has like what? He had like 14. He's always getting like double digit assists in every game.
And you can't throw to nobody who's not there or they're not in position. Because how many
Yeah,
times have you seen like the freeze frames of plays where it was like, why is everybody over here?
yeah,
And you know what I mean? Like, so they were all out of They were all
Yeah,
out of space.
when Bede's got like three guys on him, and there's nobody moving to a
Well, you
different
see that play
spot.
when
You
Harden got
know?
into his seat. Remember when Harden got pushed into the seat because they had
Yeah,
three dudes on him,
yeah.
Kyrie included. So
And nobody moved to get to a spot for him.
you could hear everybody yelling like, "Will you go help him?" Like you could hear people going, "Hello,
Yeah,
hello!" And then if he
yeah,
hadn't thrown it, that ball would have been out of bounds. So
yep.
luckily they got that ball off, and I think either Embiid or Tobias or somebody got a
Yeah,
bucket.
Tobias hit a shot. Yeah,
Tobias hit a shot, yeah.
on the up at the
And that
top.
was another thing. Tobias came out and hit some threes, but I just wish he would have generated that the whole game because that could have probably kept them a little bit ahead of than what they were. You know,
Well,
his
yeah, but
inconsistency drives me nuts too.
when your star is only your star has 11 points, it doesn't help.
I know.
There's not much he could have did to help that
No,
whole
no.
situation.
I
I
think the
mean,
whole hype behind it is really what ruined, what made it worse.
yeah.
If you didn't have so much hype about it. But what's your thoughts in general about what do you think Ben is gonna? I know it's not a big deal at this point, but do we really think that Ben's gonna play the rest of the season for them?
He's gonna have to at some point, because just like you just got a new car and you
It's
and
hard,
you tell you don't want to drive it.
right?
Like come on, like you okay, he's got to play. All the money they're putting out for him I mean,
I honestly,
he's got to play.
the rumors of him not even thinking he was going to even sit at the Sixers game. I remember
Oh,
originally.
I knew he wasn't going to play that game, so I knew from
Yeah,
the beginning.
I didn't think he was going to show up even to sit though. I'm saying like when they were first saying he wasn't going to show, I said, well,
Yeah.
that's just embarrassing. And then when he showed up, I wonder if KD and them were like, you coming, right? And he probably was
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure, I'm coming. Trying to act cool and stuff like that. Secretly like, oh god.
Wearing his
But
ugly ass Louis Vuitton sweater.
yeah, somebody said he looked like a bumblebee. I was just more like, look, dude is happy because he looks at it like I don't have to
Him and his
try to go ahead.
$1,400 sweater that he had on yesterday.
Which he probably got for free. I bet you he didn't pay for it. Because at this point they give people shit. If he got enough, you get enough cahoons and enough associations with like media people, they probably just want to throw something on you just to make you look good, even if you're sitting on the bench.
Yeah,
That's
but
the thing.
I just hate how the media's handling. Like you were saying earlier about how the media's handling this. That they're trying to build this narrative which just doesn't exist.
Right.
Like that. Like all these things, like trying to say bad things about the Philly fans and all this other
Mm-hmm.
crap, and like they're trying to build a narrative that's not there.
Right.
Like that they were never supportive of him. Yes, we were 100% supportive of him.
And they only remember the bad stuff.
Like even who's the guy? Marco Falls came out and said that Philly fans are great. They supported me through all my struggles.
Mm-hmm.
He struggled a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and for him to come
So
back from an ACL now to be back on the Magic, it's like he just now got back into the lineup down there. So,
mhm.
I mean, look, whatever. Some people don't always bounce back easily like others from injury, and that's just all
Yeah,
sports. But I do believe
yeah,
I'm with you. I do believe the media feeds into it a lot, but I also think us fans have to learn to take it another level because clearly by the end of the night we were booing our own team. You know,
oh yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I heard it.
yeah, so there was really, I mean, that was the biggest joke all over social media was that they went from booing Ben Simmons to booing their own team, you
Hmm.
know. And I don't understand why they even did that much. I mean, I know why, but part of me, if I was there, I'd be like, people like him like drama, so you should
Hmm.
do the opposite and not give him the satisfaction. But
Yeah,
I know that all the meatheads and all the true fans are not going to be out there thinking logically. They're just going to be
no,
like, I'm drunk. This is
nah.
my time to be
There are
rowdy.
too many beers in at this point. At that point,
Yeah.
so
So,
it's
but
not
yeah,
happening.
I would rather just ignore someone like him. But and granted, I could tell that if Embiid and Harden were the first to leave at the end of the game, I was like, okay, they weren't even trying to fake like they were going to say bye to everybody. They were just like, I'm out, you
Yeah.
know. And Embiid left
Well.
probably because he was just like embarrassed, probably for
Oh yeah, I'm
himself.
sure he was embarrassed.
Hmm. Yeah, and Harden I think just left just because he was
And
like, I ain't got no reason to stay.
I love like and KD trying to play all tough.
Yeah, he is. He is talking a lot of mess,
I'm
but
like, you ain't tough. You
I know. He looks like a toothpick. Every time I look at him, I'm just like, you are a slick talking dude for someone who looks like he weighs
7
bigger
feet
than my
tall, but
feet.
he's like barely 200. He's just over 200
Oh my
pounds, right?
god. I just look at him, I'm like, he's literally like a human toothpick every time I see him.
And Embiid's like what 7 feet tall,
Hmm.
280, 280.
And B could accidentally hurt you. That's the thing. Like
Yeah,
he's not even
exactly.
consciously trying to hurt you.
just
You
bowl you
know,
over and don't even realize it. Like,
one swing of the hand by accident and you knocked out, broke your nose, something. But KD,
yeah,
I mean, even when KD even who was it? I think Harden actually did that one time that Harden tried to charge and ran into him. You could tell he needed a minute because Harden coming at full speed. He's sitting there laughing, but he's thinking like,
yeah, right.
like, oh my god, my chest.
Probably sore today.
Oh yeah, it probably doesn't take much to dent him, but
Yeah,
all in all, though, on top of everything else, the latest news before we close is just that I just heard that Deshaun Watson got cleared
yeah,
um,
I saw that
of
the grand
the
jury
of the
cleared him,
criminal charges,
but he's still facing 22
civil,
criminal suits, civil
22
suits.
criminal suits.
No,
So
civil suits. Yeah.
civil suits. I'm sorry.
So yeah, so
Yeah, that's right.
he's not gonna be indicted. He's not gonna do any jail time.
Okay,
So
so of course this is just what the NFL loves because all they
well,
can't do is wait to put him on the team.
now he just has to kick out some money now.
That and
So
also he has to consider that the exemption he may not still play for a while. You know,
yeah, who is all depends what Goodell decides to do
yeah.
in the
I
Players
mean,
Association. I mean, if they decide to make him sit out a few games this year,
yeah.
I mean, they already made him sit out a whole year. So I mean,
I know, and I'm hoping he was smart enough to keep himself in shape, unlike Ben. And that's probably why Ben supposedly has back issues. He's probably was sitting there lounging, not even thinking about keeping himself in shape.
I'm sure he kept himself in shape. He's probably got nothing else to do. He's probably bored as fuck. He can't come to the.
Yeah, I mean, because at this point now, but I think the thing that with most NFL players, we all know that most of them obviously come from shady past. I know Deshaun at one point before all this came out pretty much seemed like a stand-up gentleman at some point. Like he was the one who every time I used to see him talk, being on that disastrous Texans team, he used to break down plays in such a way that it was almost like he was during the combine when they asked you to kind of describe a play,
Yeah.
beginning to end. Like he would be that thorough in his press conferences that I was impressed as a fan at the time because I'm like, he's a smart brother. Like, dude knows what he's talking about. He gave to he was homeless and he talked about how he always likes to give and stuff. But I understand on the surface to every person who's not into football, they'll be like, that's not an excuse. And I'm like, it's not. But it's just disappointing how fast the image is tarnished, from this point on, just because of his recklessness,
I mean, yeah, because when he went out, he was a top 5 quarterback. I mean,
yeah. And he still probably is a good player. I mean, how many times was he all over Sports Center, even though they had no wings of a prayer of winning, but his plays would always save a game, whether they won or not. So again, and I don't feel like it's the same as Mike Vick because he's not going to jail. So he has to deal with the fact that this is going to be hanging over his head until, like you said, he pulls it out of his pocket. And mind you, this wouldn't have even came out had the GMs or the owners decide not to let that stuff leak, because
they were unhappy because he was so vocal about
he wanted to trade,
about that he wasn't happy there.
So he wanted to get out, and they look at it like, oh, we own you, son, watch, and then fade to black for like 2 years. And it was like, that's what happens when you just decide that you want to get a trade. These owners, some of them are fed up, especially in Texas, because they don't care about nobody.
They don't give a
They don't give a crap. No, I know. That's why I said that was he probably regrets even saying that stuff publicly.
Oh yeah,
maybe I'll just wait it out next time. But the rumor is they say that they think the Panthers want him. He clearly didn't want to come here, which I'm kind of glad because I didn't want that whole controversy over here again. And
I think the asking price is going to be a little too steep too.
So. Yeah, I mean, Eagles got to worry about they finally got a decent cap space, but they also have to consider now the rumors they may be looking at trying to trade Fletch, although I don't know if that's going to happen. But the fact they even put it out there means they're trying to look for a lot of free agents, and there's a lot of DB shaking loose. I would love they get Bobby. What's his name? Bobby Wagner. I always want to say Bobby Taylor. I would love that they got Bobby Wagner. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I instantly think of Bobby Taylor, but. So hopefully, the next time we talk, hopefully we'll be talking.
Free agency starts Monday?
Monday? I think so, because that's probably why a lot of this stuff is starting to shake out this past week. Because I was like, why does it seem like everybody's getting cut? Or
people started tagging people and they started doing all this other stuff already.
Yeah, Devontae got tagged, and
Aaron Rodgers got his $50 million a year.
Greedy bastard. Anyway, yeah. So. We're cool. Us CoEds, we don't really care at this point about the Sixers. Luckily, they play a lot of games. Come Sunday, we'll be talking about a win. And hopefully the next big game will be more exciting than this one, because this one, This one kind of sucked.
Yeah, it was like it was
It
getting a
was
little
just
hard.
like a anticlimactic. It was like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, by the end of the night, I'm like you. I'm like halfway through the game, not even halftime. I was sitting there going, "Do I want to go to bed early?" But I was like, I feel weird because then see it, they show people walking out, and I was just like, I can't not watch the rest of the game. It's like a car accident.
Yeah.
I just have to keep staring. But there were some people, they were like, I'm out. I can't do this anymore.
I'm sorry. If I was at that game, I spent all the money for those tickets that night. I wasn't going nowhere.
Nowhere. I've been told you that. I said, even when we
Especially
went
how
to the
much
last Eagles
they were
game,
spending on those tickets this game.
people who spent 2,500 for a regular season game,
No.
why?
As
Why?
like Tyrone says, that's a violation.
That's a violation on so many principles. And don't be crying about you trying to get that balance down after the day, because ain't nobody feel sorry for your dumb butt.
Nah.
But anyway, I wouldn't even do that on a playoff, mind you. So, you know, it's
Yeah.
steep. It's a steep ticket just to get a
It's
regular
too
price.
much. Way too much. Like that's
I'd be like, that money could go to somewhere else. I'm sorry. You get a better
yeah.
angle at home anyway. Yeah, sometimes the cameraman may miss every single snap, but whatever. Like, I'm not, dude. Please, that's corporation money. That's for like a box for your
Yeah,
company to pay
right.
for, so y'all all can enjoy a game. That's not for one person.
Nah.
Anyway, but us co-eds had to wrap and talk about this one more time. Sixers, we're gonna keep the faith.
Yep.
Phillies now are starting.
Keep hope
MLB's
alive.
back.
When is
Clearwater.
when is the first day of spring training? I didn't see a date yet.
All I know is they keep showing players getting ready,
I
they
know
show
that. I'm
Bryce.
sure. I'm sure they're happy.
They are very happy. Bryce is sitting there going like, I've been here for a month. I was ready to go to Taiwan and play.
Yeah, he was.
But yeah, so I saw soon we're going to be talking about baseball, so that'll be good to know. They definitely
they
missed
keep
a couple series, so
yeah they keep ruining my plans of wanting to go to Clearwater again and see a game. You know
yeah,
they
I think
keep messing
everybody
that
has
up.
that.
I've
Yeah,
been wanting to do that again, and it's like, and then it's like, oh, COVID hit, and then
yeah.
they have the contract disagreements. I'm like, oh
On top of the
god,
delay on the delay, then you got
yeah,
the hold up with the MLB. Yeah, I know. So it was
yeah,
like after a while, everybody's like, "Can we get this started, please?
yeah.
No more delays." Well, they just said on Mike Missinelli's show they were supposed to go down for Clearwater, and that messed up their travel plans. So now they can't go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it does more than just upset the players. It upsets the fans because they want to be part of
yeah.
it. So
And they want
now they just
21.
want to jump right into it.
Well, they said they want 21 days of training. They said so.
Yeah. So at this point, if you hear anything, you probably won't hear before me because I know they
Yeah,
give drips and drabs.
I'll keep you posted too. So
Yeah, because me and my mom were just making the joke. We're like, we need to go to at least one or two games and get ourselves a diggity dog and sit on the 300 level. We kind of miss sitting up there, in the August heat or whatever, on the
yeah.
primetime
Oh,
game.
I love going to baseball games. So
Oh yeah, people have to realize like, yeah, it's a long game, but sometimes it's actually fun. Like they make it fun. It's not like you're just sitting there. I do feel like it can be very
well, it
enjoyable.
depends if you go with people. Yeah, yeah, fun with people. So
Yeah. But all right, Ed, I'm glad you were available. I will talk to you soon, and
all right,
hopefully we'll keep it posted because Sixers still going. They will be playoff bound. Trust me when I tell you. And yeah, don't worry about it. That's one team.
just
They
one
got
game,
games.
one
One
game.
game, one team. And yeah, clap your hands still, 76ers fans. But all right, Eddie, I will talk to
All
you soon,
right,
brother.
bye.
Bye bye.